The Unknown. I couldn't wait to finally talk about this killer. Not much is known about what this monster is or how it was created, but instead the story follows about someone known as Olivia who seemed very interested in urban legends and their origins. She seemed to be very intrigued investigating this unknown creature that she heard was a mysterious evil so heinous it almost immediately invites death to those that try to learn about it. There were many tales about it, one of which was a woman in Greenville who disappeared without a trace on stage in front of a room full of witnesses, along with her friend that disappeared trying to investigate what happened, confusing the police since there were no clues or leads, creating a perfect mystery storm that soon became horror tales for all. During spring break, Olivia headed to Greenville to start her investigation, staying in the second cheapest motel in town. She began her setup in the rooms that smelled of smoke, mold, and booze. She made one of the walls into an evidence board, using different articles and images with red strings and yellow thumbtacks to make connections with her theories. Starting with news articles about a seance in the 1800s that caused the disappearance with some of their members, theorizing that the unknown's origins was a malevolent creature conjured by an ancient cult. In the late 1950s, several college students mysteriously disappeared from a movie theater, and in the 1960s, a group of teens disappeared when exploring a supposedly haunted hospital, theorizing its origins was an alien that escaped Area 51, using the darkness to lure its victims and consume them, using their voice to lure other victims to their doom. Then there was talk of a government conspiracy about a top-secret project program in the 50s known as Project Apple Pie, using mind control experiments with hallucinogenic drugs, although the records were mostly destroyed in the 70s. People stated that experiments were performed on the people that were disappearing throughout the town, including theaters, hospitals, and universities. So the unknown dwells in the darkness and is able to mimic voices of its victims. But what exactly was it? An evil entity? An extraterrestrial? A failed government experiment? Olivia wrote her observations and pinned them to the board. She wanted to prove the unknown was nothing more than just a folklore, yet she couldn't help but notice the similarities with these disappearances in Greenville. The Black Fog. It seems this fog is also responsible for the disappearances in other urban legends Olivia remembered. Maybe this fog also ties in with the people of Greenville. Could one urban legend somehow be colliding with another? She laughed at the idea and tempted fate by sketching what she believes the unknown looks like. She then pinned the sketch to the evidence board, waiting for something to happen. For hours, nothing happened. At 2 a.m., Olivia was exhausted as she was drinking her cold coffee, looking through the articles again, until she heard something whispered to her. Thinking it was her imagination, she heard her name whispered in the bathroom, and the light started to flicker. Fear spread into her mind as she slowly approached the closed bathroom door. Lights flickering, and whispers turning into what sounds like panicked voices, like they were under attack. She creaked the door open to see a bulky shape with frenzied tentacles being pulled into a thick mass of black fog, vanishing in the darkness, with the shrieking stop. All she saw is a fog that she wanted to know what it is, even though she should run away from whatever this thing is. She stared into the dark void, with voices promising her to help her understand the unknown, the impossible, and of other unearthly things beyond human experience. I wonder if this is the entity in its killer form. The unknown's ability is known as UVX, which allows it to spit out a bouncing projectile that makes survivors suffer from hindered or even put them in a weakened state in its blast radius. Survivors can remove the weakened state by staring at the unknown. It also has the ability to make hallucinations which charge over time. Up to 4 can be on the map, and it can use the hallucinations to teleport around the map in an instant. Survivors can dispel these hallucinations to prevent it from teleporting to its location. However, failing it will make the weakened and trigger killer instinct. Unknown's perks allows it to grant haste for 10 seconds after vaulting a window after a survivor becomes injured. This effect lasts for 24 to 30 seconds. Gain tokens whenever survivor fails a skill check on repairing or healing and can use them by damaging a generator. This instantly regresses its progression and blocks the damaged generator. And transfer your terror radius to a damaged generator, giving you undetectable for 22 to 30 seconds. This killer automatically from me gets an S tier. This is my absolute favorite killer in Dead by Daylight since this has some analog horror stuff to it, especially in the trailer. This killer is completely unknown about what it is, where it comes from, and even what happens to its victims afterwards. So if we follow this theory, this isn't what the unknown actually looks like. At least we don't think it is. This was off of a sketch picture Olivia made when she was investigating it. So, we don't know what this thing actually looks like. Maybe this thing is the entity itself. I'll let the game theorist himself figure all that out. I'm sure his crew got some answers up their sleeves.